right, everyone. Welcome to Fridays with Frankie on the Frankie and Ding Dong Show channel. You are seeing us live on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitch stream all simultaneously. I am your host, Frankie Avalon, and my co-host, King Ding Dong, hanging out tonight. And we have a special guest with us, PWBA star Mallory Clark, hanging out in the studio with us tonight. Mallory, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Absolutely.
Thanks for coming on the show with us, for sure. Yeah.
It'll be fun. More fun than sitting home alone in the dark.
Yeah, so it was so funny. You and my wife were kind of texting back and forth there a little bit.
Yeah.
And my wife is like, oh, by the way, Mallory's coming over. Cool. That's awesome.
Yay.
Let's fire up a Fridays
Special
with
guest.
Frankie. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hey, we already got a comment coming in. Del Picard saying, what's up? So,
Hi, Del.
So you're going to see a ticker running across the bottom of the screen. Mallory will be taking your questions, and we'll read them to her live on the air. She will answer any questions that you have. So she's actually the second professional bowler in the last month that we've had on the show. We had AJ Chapman here. We got Mallory here. So all kinds of stuff happening here on the Frankie and Ding Dong Show. And so Mallory, you're going to be going into your sophomore season for the PWBA. When is your first event, and where is it, and how are you looking forward to this season?
So our first event is in California. I'm forgetting the name of where we are going, but it's in California. It's near Modesto, California.
Okay.
And it's the first weekend in May. Yes, first weekend in May. We actually start a little bit earlier than we have the last couple seasons. So I have that tour stop. Then we go to Spokane, Washington, then to Vegas for Queens.
Mm-hmm.
Back home probably for like a week. Then I believe we're off to Michigan, and then Ohio, New York for the U.S. Open in Rochester, and then Houston for the Lucy, and Iowa for our last week-long tour series.
Yeah.
So I've never been to Iowa. That should be.
It doesn't sound too exciting.
You've been to Iowa? You've been to Iowa?
Corn, right?
Yeah.
Corn.
Right.
So is this like a 3-month-long season this year?
Yeah.
Are you on for the whole trip?
Yeah. So basically May is jam-packed for like the first 3 weeks because everything's on the West Coast. So I'm not going to probably come home until after Queens because it's just like flying back and forth doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And I can work remote. So it's nice to be able to just like hunker down in a hotel or an Airbnb and just like work for 3 days in between tournaments.
For sure.
So yeah, May's pretty jam-packed. Then June is like first couple weeks has some events. Then we're off. I think it's like the end of June through the end of July, we're off. And then we have the Lucy and then Iowa and then we're done. But it's all pretty compact, like into 3 months kind of. So
yeah.
But I'm excited. I feel like I worked a lot of the jitters out last year. I think I worked a lot of the kinks out last year. It's a interesting atmosphere to get used to bowling in because
We got comments coming in. Sparkles.
oh my god,
I don't know if we can put that comment on the air.
oh sprinkles.
I'll leave that up to you.
I'll read it.
Perfect. All right. So Sparks says, when you look in the mirror, do you have to change your underwear?
I don't.
No. Perfect. All right. So continue.
She doesn't wear any.
Yeah, right. No, just don't wear any.
Okay, read them live. This is the Frankie and Ding Dong Show.
Right.
So
yeah.
you must have gained like invaluable experience last
Yeah,
year, though, I'm
for sure.
That you can use this year, not just with like houses maybe that you're bowling in, but like patterns.
Yep.
People that you've crossed with and learning how to follow different people that you are bowling with, essentially the same bowlers every week. On these tour stops. So I'm sure you learned a lot from that.
I did.
Yeah.
And the girls are great.
Yeah.
It's nice that a lot of them are excited to see new faces on tour because that means the tour's growing.
Right.
If the tour doesn't grow, you're not going to have a tour anymore. We've had this in the past. And she has to wear them.
Del said you have to wear them. Josh Delfonso, LOL. And then we got Dick DeJour coming in. Merry Christmas all. Merry Christmas to you, Dick. So
Merry Christmas, Richard.
If it's a scored, aren't they kind of built in?
Yeah, they're sure. Yeah. Everything. You wear underwear. Everything's covered 3 times.
Right.
So.
So
this is a cold state.
Yeah.
We got Master Splinter coming in hot.
Oh, good.
Who do you love?
My husband.
How sweet.
Oh, way to
Then
make me tell everyone.
Jeez, look at all the questions tonight. We didn't get this many questions our whole last show. DDJ saying, I have a question for the woman bowler. Does she prefer llamas or alpacas?
Llamas, duh. They're much more aggressive.
There we go.
They're more aggressive.
Dick and I have a running joke about llamas.
They're filled with drama.
We have a two-handed bowler, kind of. She bowled one event. That Bella Castillo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she bowled the tour stop in Dallas, actually.
Speaking of two-handed women bowlers, we have two two-handed women bowlers signed up for our tournament on the 15th of January.
Oh, awesome.
Linda, right?
And this girl, Michaela.
Yes,
bowling.
I saw that. And
I know her.
yeah.
I can't remember her last name.
I'll tell you right now, there's this girl, Anna Antony, that bowls the DJVT tour.
Yeah.
And she's like U12 and like beats up on
Really?
everyone out there.
I don't have the coordination
boys
to
and
do it.
everything. And she's going to be something, man.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
I don't.
yeah.
My ball goes more up than out. If I try to do it's not good.
Not good.
I
Not good.
just don't do
Well,
it.
That's fine.
I don't need to do it. It's
Well,
fine.
with as good as you throw the ball, I don't think you need to worry about
I think
that.
I'm fine.
So,
I'm
Joey
okay.
Pants will be proud.
so by the way,
You'll be
right,
proud.
thumb in the ball, one hand, you're good to go. It has worked,
Oh
so
god.
you check all the boxes.
Right.
So just talking about season 2 a little bit. Obviously cashing in the PBA regional that happened recently down in Providence, Rhode Island.
Yes. Yeah.
That was huge. I mean, that is definitely like a good confidence booster. Not only that, you just won the Dirty Lou Derby last Sunday.
And that was
held
not
at Just
easy.
in Time Recreation. That was a tough
That
pattern.
was tough.
I bowled on that pattern. It was not easy, and it was
Yeah.
nice to see you come away with the win in that. Winning, you beat Scotty Tuhati in the final match.
did.
So,
He wasted all his strikes shooting 260 against.
I saw
Bryson
that in the
match
semifinals.
before.
Yeah,
I was like, this isn't good.
But no, so I mean, you've been really bowling great. You're bowling great, obviously at Just in Time. Trying to go for the house record for average in a season.
I've
We
just
been
informed what it is.
We talked about that off the air a few minutes ago. So I think you got a great shot to do it. But all of that building up to the season is definitely stuff I think that will really help carry some momentum for you coming into the spring.
Yeah, it really will, because honestly, like the regional, Greg was nice enough to put the pattern out for us at Bayside the weekend before, or the couple days before, because
the mad scientist.
Yeah. So we couldn't make it down there for the practice session because I had to work. I had a store walk in North Conway. Jimmy had appointments, so we didn't make it to the practice session. And he was nice enough to put it out for us. And I bowled on it, and it was awful. I bowled for 45 minutes, and I was like, I'm not bowling tomorrow. I literally went home and I was like, I'll just watch.
You're like the Grinch when he was trying on all the outfits.
Yes.
He's like, that's it, I'm not going.
I'm not going. Like, I literally walked out of there. Jimmy's like, how'd it go? Like, it was awful. Because he practiced in the morning on it, and then I went in the afternoon, and I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
So I went into the next day thinking, well, we'll just see how it goes. We're playing on house money because it was the money that I won at the TOC for NEBA. I won enough money to pay for my entry and not have to worry about it. So I was like, it's not my money, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I had the first 8 strikes the first game and ended up shooting like 260 that game. And I was like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. This isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah. And then, I mean, it was still tough because I'm not comfortable. I've never been very comfortable playing in the middle of the lane, and that's where that pattern played.
Right.
And it was the same thing this weekend. Had to play in the middle of the lane because that pattern was like there was no play on the gutter at all. I love the gutter. I'd much rather be out there.
Absolutely.
I will live in the gutter if I have to. I know it sounds horrible when I say it that way, but I will live on the gutter.
Give me all the gutter trash.
Beside the gutter.
Beside the gutter. Not like in it, but like beside
right.
it.
Like, you can judge.
Like
I'll
you're
be its neighbor. Yeah.
Right, you're the gutter's neighbor.
Yeah.
Close.
So
like Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. I was I'm getting more comfortable playing in deeper where I'm not very comfortable. And a lot of the patterns this past year on tour, you needed to play inside of like second arrow, third arrow. And I never had a lot of confidence there. And I'm building that confidence now because a lot of the stuff we've been bowling on lately, that's where I need to play.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been helpful for sure. And the amount of time that I spend with Liz Culkin on tour, she's my roommate next year, which is going to be fun.
That's great.
Awesome. She it like really helped boost my confidence. Like even if it was just something small, like I had a good block. I didn't make a cut, but I had a great block. Like I remember in Minnesota, I had a shitty block in the morning and then had a really good block in the afternoon. And she built me up so much on that block that it like helped gain confidence for the rest of the season. And I can't thank her enough for her help and support and everything. And it's because girls can be not the easiest to get along with when it's in a competitive atmosphere.
Sure. Yeah.
So finding someone that you can root each other on and like be there for each other and really help each other, it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, being in this area where we are so supportive of each other all the time, when you get kind of outside of that zone, it is a different atmosphere and a whole different world when it's, when it's your livelihood and when, people are competing for checks that they need to put possibly food on the table and, stuff like that. So it's definitely a whole different universe, but finding that camaraderie when you can and that common ground is obviously huge.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. And shout out to Queen Bee for helping you out with that. And then, so part of that learning from last year is just living away from home and being out on the road and bowling for that 3-month span. You mentioned maybe being able to come home, for a week here and there. But I mean, part of the learning you did last year was how it is to be away and out on the road and bowling. So, do you think that part of the process of learning last year is going to help you this year as well? Because at least you'll know what to look for this year.
Yeah, I will say one thing that'll be nice is I went into this year with no plans of having a roommate for anything, only because I didn't feel like I knew anybody well enough to be like, hey, do you want to room together?
Right.
Liz stayed with me a few times, which was nice to have some company here and there. So that was nice. But having a person with me this year will be a lot easier, I think, than because I did it all by myself last year, basically.
Yeah.
And traveling for work kind of helped make that not too bad being away. But I will say, when Jimmy left in Chicago, because he came to our first tour stop, when he left, I was a mess after he left. I'm like, I'll see you in 2 weeks, but I feel like it's going to be a year and a half. So
right.
that was, and then he got stranded in the airport all night in Detroit. So that sucked too.
Right. Oh, I remember that.
That was
that
so
experience.
bad.
Yes,
God,
I felt really bad for him for sure.
That was awful.
So let's get to some comments that are coming in. So we have DDJ was asking, how many DMX songs do you know?
I think 3. I can't even tell you all the words, just some of them.
Then we have Del Picard saying, you can have the gutter. LOL.
Excellent.
Del, I've seen you bowl. You want no part of that gutter. Spark says, how do you feel about having the highest losing game ever in Bopo?
True story. Sparks and I will typically go strike for almost the front 10 almost every time we bowl each other. And I typically lose. So, yeah.
Oh, Liz checking in. Hi, Liz. But who's your favorite, Liz?
Oh, shit. That's mean.
Ooh, that's fighting words.
I know.
Liz, when you come back, I promise no more ladybugs when you come up. Just to let you know. So, a little inside joke there. Mark A says, we love you, Sauce. That's Smash.
Oh, hi. Love you too.
How about she goes non-bowler Liz? Question.
Oh well, obviously, Liz Rogers is my favorite Liz. My favorite non-bowler Liz.
DDJ, why is Shirley the better bowler?
He's not, bro. He's left-handed. He cheats.
That's true. He doesn't count. All right, so we also want to let people know that Bowl TV subscription, which is where you can see PWBA coverage.
Yep.
PBA coverage this year.
That's exciting.
The subscriptions are $99 until the end of the month. So, and then I think they go up to is it $119 or $140 or $29? So, anyways, it's $20-$30 more. So, I mean, you want to see the best bowlers in the world on the women's tour, the men's tour. It's all in one place this coming year.
And I think all the youth bowling
and the youth's going to be on there. Yep. So they're going to have the youth collegiate stuff, I think. So I mean, there's a whole bunch of.
PBA going to be on there too.
Probably. I mean, they're lumping all of that into one subscription service, which is great because now you don't have to have flow and have all this stuff. You know what I mean? So now being in one place will be great.
And they made an app.
And they made
But they need now. Hey, if you're watching this, anyone at USBC, we need an actual apps for Fire Sticks and stuff like that, so that you don't have to use web browsers and stuff like that. It's great to have on the phone. I already have it downloaded on my phone and everything. It's awesome. That's a big plus. But
Oh,
you
it's
need
only
like
Apple.
you need like Roku apps. You need Fire Stick apps.
I think
like
you
as
can
soon
only
as,
find it like
and then-
Android and Apple, and that's it.
Right. So, I mean, yes, but if you can just cast it to those devices for people with, like I said, Roku's,
I
Fire
have
Sticks, all
Apple
that stuff.
TV, so
Apple
it's
TV.
Oh, yeah.
So
this
you
is
need, so
gone,
as soon as
yeah.
they get that, then look out, because I mean, Flo had that and it was great. You could just click,
Yeah.
bang, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
So hopefully they're working on that, but I'm subscribed either way. So,
Cross our fingers.
but yes, we want to watch you on tour as much as possible. Get those subscriptions in, and let's.
My
support
favorite thing
that.
with the Bold TV is that you can pick whatever pair you want to watch. So, because like, and Flow you could too
Flow
for
you
the
could,
most
yeah.
part.
Well, certain pairs.
Yeah.
They didn't necessarily have the whole entire.
Right. I do like that you have that option to pick though, because I always felt like when it was it extra frame before, where it was
Yes,
like
extra
two
frame,
cameras,
yes.
and like the same people
Yeah.
would hit those cameras constantly, and you're
I know,
like, and
you're
these
like-
are not who I want to watch. Like, no
So
offense to anybody that was on,
was
but
nice. You could use, you could kind of pick more pairs of lanes and stuff. Now, hopefully, they still have that feature where you can get
I
a
hope
whole
so.
bunch of different pairs of lanes.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, I just follow you. Like, I don't need the commentary. Like, where's Mallory bowling?
yeah,
I always check like the roster ahead of time and be like, okay, who's the people I want to watch? I can see, okay, so you're going to be on these lanes, these lanes, these
Yeah.
lanes. Is these ones on the camera or not? So it's kind of cool that way.
Yeah.
So, DDJ said kisses.
kisses.
Josh Alfonso had asked about the upcoming Carls. I think he's going to probably do something with that next week. So there's nothing.
I
about
think
that.
so. I think he's getting through the holidays.
Yeah. So David Bray says, looking forward to seeing you in Parma Heights, Ohio. In
Yes.
June. So Cleveland. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cleveland.
awesome.
We were
Yeah.
talking because it's the Cleveland Open. We're
Yeah.
not super far from there, so I believe he's going to come watch.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
That's
I
awesome.
look forward to seeing you.
Big Tony McMillan, my boy. How was working with my father-in-law, Randy Curate?
That's your father-in-law? I love Randy.
So there you go.
That's too funny. Yeah, we actually just started a project in Winthrop together. He's one of our ORs. He does similar to what Phil Frames does. So I also work with Phil Frames.
Yep.
Yeah, no, Randy's great. He was he worked for CapEx for a short time, so he actually physically was doing installs for me at Main Mall, and now he's one of like our project managers. So he did North Conway with me, and now we're doing Winthrop together.
Oh,
But yeah,
very
I like
cool.
working
That's
with
cool.
Randy.
Yeah.
All right.
Small world.
So Del Picard says this is an actual bowling question
Oh.
here. I know, weird. What balls do you like to use the most on tour? Now, maybe preface that with what did you have the most success with last year on tour that you probably saw the most out of? And I would say a preview. Is there anything that'll definitely be in your bag right now? Now, obviously, a lot can change between now and May.
Yeah.
But is there something in your bag right now? I will add that to that question that you think this is going to be in my bag no matter what I drill going forward. This ball will be in my bag.
Okay. So
Two-part question.
last year I say last year, it was technically this year. My Envision, oddly enough, was always the ball that, like, if I felt like I had no look with anything, I could find a look with my Envision.
The bailout ball.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't matter what we were bowling on. I was like, I'll just throw this. I'll find somewhere that this is going to work. We drilled a Polaris in Florida, and that actually looked really good because I needed something like my Warrant Solid that was really tumbly.
Yeah.
That ball looked really good. Going into next year, the One Remix is absolutely coming with me. I love that ball. And then my Evo Solid, I'm hoping to find, no, it's discontinued now. I'm hoping to find a new replacement for it.
For the
but
Evo Solid.
I
yeah.
love my Evo Solid is another ball that, like, if I'm in trouble and I know that I need a ball that's going to have ball reaction on the back ends, like that always is the ball.
I would almost guarantee that they're going to come out with another Quantum Solid.
I
Since
hope
they brought
so.
back the Quantum nameplate,
Yeah.
it's been like a good solid every year.
That'd be
pretty
nice
much
if it's that
every
mystery
set.
ball that we've
Right.
seen hints
Yeah.
about.
Right. I mean,
Well,
the
that
Evo
would love
Hybrid
it.
has been such a smash. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I mean, they've been the brands of Brunswick have been knocking out of the park with those hybrid covers. I mean, there's so many good hybrid cover balls right now.
Mhm.
And now
phenomenal.
with that dynamic core too.
I mean, there's one behind me, that Bigfoot hybrid I've been throwing is just.
I haven't
unbelievable.
drilled that one yet. The Defender Hybrid is actually really good too.
That's,
that one's
that's one
definitely
that,
going.
yeah, for sure.
I won the women's NEBA with that the day after it was released.
Right.
It was like
yeah.
perfect
Thank
timing.
God.
I threw
Thank
it
God
once
you
in
got around that
practice.
rule.
Oh my God, I threw it once in practice and I turned around and looked at Eric Copping and I was like, can I throw this? And what's the date today? And he was like, yeah, it was released yesterday. I'm like, okay, perfect.
So Josh Alfonso commented Trailblazer. I know you drilled a Trailblazer Solid. Is
Yep.
that a ball you've been using much at all?
Yeah, that ball actually, that ball did really well when we bowled the Thailand pattern for Draft League and for the Carl's tournament.
Yeah.
We drilled it right before the Carl's tournament because I really didn't have anything that was great on Thailand for Draft League. And then that tournament came up and I was like, well, I'm not very good on it. So let's see. So we drilled that and I played the gutter, and basically it's something that gets started really early and just rolls to the pocket. And yeah, it was really good.
Dell asked Obsession Tour ? Have you thrown one? Did you
I've not thrown one. I've not drilled one. I've not thrown one.
Jeez, that's going to break his heart. That's one of his favorite.
I know.
Well, the Obsession Tours, those are discontinued now. Too.
Right.
But if you're looking for a replacement for the original Obsession Tour, I'm telling you, my Legion. So
Legion's, that ball's pretty money.
It's almost, it's the closest thing I've seen since the Obsession Tour to the Obsession
I think
Tour.
when we went to that demo, I think that's the only one I didn't throw.
The Legion.
Did I throw? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Del Picard told me, he goes, that GB4 Pro looks money in your hand. Yeah, that ball is money in my hand. I love that thing. So, sanded, of course.
Sanded, of course.
Polish, not box finish. So, we had Connor Adams asking purple reactive. Have you drilled a purple reactive?
I did. I don't have a ton of revs, and I have a lot of ball speed, so some of the weaker stuff doesn't really.
You're a little more speed dominant.
Yeah.
Off the back of the ball a little more. So
I really need stronger equipment with surface so that it slows down enough.
Yeah.
I find that
I drilled it. I didn't hate it. I threw it a little bit.
I think maybe on the shorter patterns, if you get into the kind of 34 to 36 foot range, you might see a little play since you like to play the gutter a little bit more. But like for me, Viper, I use my purple reactive. It looks awesome on that.
Yeah, mine's straight on Viper too.
But yeah, so I could see that. I could say that. Jimmy,
somebody
Splinter
took
says
mine.
Looks good in my hand. Used it tonight. Thanks, babe.
Yeah, somebody already made it their ball.
Yeah, well, I mean, Splinter makes sense. Big rev, good speed. Like he can really get around the ball good. So.
Yeah, I got a Snapchat the other day that said, "This is mine now." I was like, "Okay, thanks."
Right,
Love you.
Right, it's yours now. Cool. So we had a lot of good questions coming in. Holy cow! So that's great. No, Del, thanks for that question. So it kind of built up a couple other questions for us. So basically, is there a stop you're looking forward to the most this season coming up? Is there one say you did the best at last year and you're like, yeah, I think I can improve on that, or one that you said, you know what, I'd really like to bowl better in this building than I did last year? Is there any that you're kind of looking at that way?
The only building we are going back to that we bowled in last year is in Houston for the Lucy. These are all new tour stops this year.
Okay.
We're not
great.
we're not going back to
Good.
any of the places we were at, which I think is pretty cool.
That is neat.
I look forward to the Lucy. This will be my third time bowling it.
Yep.
I bowl with Justin Urbano.
Yeah.
And
really nice guy. Justin,
we have a great time bowling together, and it's such I hear from the guys that come to Maine that's the second most fun to Bayside.
Sure.
Because you have all the women there, you have all the men there. There's a ton of fans. They do 2 huge pro-ams that fill up.
That's awesome.
They have a ton of giveaways. They raise a ton of money for a really good cause, and it's just a lot of fun to get to everybody gets to kind of chill out, relax, hang out. It's a big tournament and it is for a title, but at the same time, it's everyone's having a good time. So
I also want to ask you, who do you have for sponsors this season? Give them a little bit of a shout out, a little bit of love for them. So go ahead and talk about who you got going on board for sponsors this year.
I'm back on again this year with Hammer Bowling, Ultimate Bowling Products, which are still approved in PWBA use, which is great.
That's awesome. Very good.
Also, I'm back on with Apparel EFX.
Yeah.
I know you guys are on with Rift, but I could not.
It's your time to shine.
I know. I can't find another company that I would love more than this company.
They're good people.
with my shirts.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that there's 2 different fabric options.
Yep.
That's probably my favorite thing.
Yeah.
So back on with EFX this year. Bayside Bowl is another huge sponsor, which I cannot thank them enough for everything that they do for me.
That's awesome.
Bowler Builders Pro Shops, of course. My husband with that pro shop, anything and everything I need and want, he gets for me. So I'm going out on tour with everything Arsenal-wise that I could possibly want. Yeah.
Splinter does a great job. Obviously, we love working there with Splinter.
Yeah.
So awesome.
He's good people. We'll keep him around.
We'll keep him around for a little while.
Give you the tools to
right.
Yeah, for sure.
And then also Walter, who's Grand Real Estate Management.
Yeah.
He takes care of me as well. He's a great sponsor. And DJ Asia, Egg Roll.
Very good.
They're awesome. Everyone's. Everyone's really great.
That's
And I can't thank all my sponsors enough for what they do for me, because if it wasn't for them, I couldn't do this. It's very expensive to go out on tour.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's, you need good people that also obviously recognize your talent and your ability, and obviously you being a good person definitely gets more people involved. So that's great. So really looking forward to seeing you out on tour this season. We'll have you stick around for the rest of the show if you want to do the rest of the recaps and everything with us. So keep your comments coming in, everyone. We'll read the questions live as they come in. We've had a ton of interaction so far. That's great. I was just talking a little bit about the Digger doubles that I went and bowled a few weeks ago. That was a lot of fun. Thank you to Del Picard. You probably saw the interview I did with Del while I was out there. If you didn't, check it out. It's archived on the Frankie Ding Dong Show page. Really fun tournament. I bowled really well out there. I know my partner Viking felt a little bad that he struggled a little bit. He actually had a pretty good end of the first squad that we bowled. So we re-entered, and then, like he said, let's go have a few drinks afterwards. So, but I had a really good look out there. Like Del said, my GB4 Pearl looked good out there. My Rattler looked good out there. So I bowled really well, and it was a fun tournament. I got to catch up with a lot of people I haven't seen in a while. Anthony Pepe, love Anthony. He's such a good dude. And just saw a lot of great people out there. So Del runs a great event. It's usually second weekend or so in December. So definitely check that out.
Now, is it like an over-under?
Yeah, so it's an over 50, under 50 tournament, doubles tournament. And Del, we had dinner. He says dinner and laughs were the best, 100%. We had such a good dinner. It was a phenomenal weekend, and I can't thank you enough for being such a gracious host and everything you did for us going out there. So I really appreciate that. So, here's one of our two-handed females I was talking about who signed up for our tournament checking in.
Nice.
Michaela McIntyre says, can't wait until the tournament on the 15th. So there we go. Yay. Michaela is one of our two-handed ladies that's going to be bowling. So that's phenomenal. So that's great. So that was kind of the recap of that. Del, if you can refresh my memory on who won the event, I'll definitely put that out if you're still in the comment section. I remember seeing the picture of who won. I know it was two of the guys we crossed with on Saturday. They were wicked cool dudes.
I remember seeing it too.
Like one of the guys we were bowling with, one of the guys who won it, he had to go out after game one and get a ball in his car. He had a track heat in his car. And he's like, I got to go get this ball because I want to, oddly enough, I want to play the gutter. And then he absolutely slayed like the next three games. And obviously they crushed it on Sunday.
Right.
So I know the two guys that won, but I cannot remember their names, but they were super fun to cross with on Saturday. Del says, oh, yes, here we go. Yes, Eric Stangl and Roy Vanderbogart. So,
Vandersloot.
Yeah, so really cool dudes. They were fun.
Roy.
Yeah, they were fun. So, and then Dirty Lou Derby recap. We kind of touched on that a little bit, but won by Mallory Clark, by the way. And the cut, the scores were lower, which was great. I mean, that's kind of the.
Thank God, because I shot 160 game 4 and almost thought I bowled myself.
You bowled yourself out of it, but no, that was my job game 4, by the way. So I bowled myself out of it game 4. That happens, but no. Shane McFarland ran into Colonel Sanders. He ran his first tournament. Kind of. It was fun, kind of seeing him kind of do his thing, and get his feet wet running a tournament. So congratulations, Colonel Sanders, on your first event. I think it went pretty good. So that was great. So it was a good tournament. It was fun at Just in Time Recreation in Lewiston. Saw some new faces in the crowd for tournament bowling, which was great. Hopefully we see more of them come out to more events, which is awesome to expand that kind of roster of bowlers that kind of gets out there and competes. We love seeing stuff like that. So, and I believe his next tournament's going to be January 29th.
Yes.
Right? 29th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because we got a whole bunch of, speaking of tournaments, we got a whole bunch of tournaments coming up in January and February in Maine, which is great because I remember 15 years ago, we had a hard time even finding a tournament in Maine, so that's definitely changed and definitely changed for the better. We will touch on our dual pattern event, which everyone knows. The entries were out there yesterday and it filled. And there's 9 on the waiting list, which is great.
Get on that wait list, though.
We got the oil pattern hint out for that. If you saw the picture, pizza. We love pizza. A couple different types of pizza, but some people are trying to make some guesses on what they believe that might be.
That's
and
my favorite part, when you put the hints out.
And it's like, and then so I wanted to comment. Some people were like, "Well, thick and thin cross, is it going to be the same type of pattern, but just different volumes?" And
that was my guess.
So then I was kind of hinting at, well, you notice how one has more pepperonis than the other, so maybe it's a ratio issue. There's higher here to lower there. You never know what that's going to be. So. We just like to put hints out there. We always reveal patterns because I hate secrecy. Secrecy breeds to people thinking other people know more than someone else.
Right.
So if everything's out there, if you want to put these patterns out, you can download them to your Envoy oil machines. We have a whole folder full of them, a zip drive full of our custom oil patterns that we build with Greg, the mad scientist. We have so much fun designing patterns with Greg. It's awesome. We have so many ideas out there right now. It's crazy. But you can definitely download them to any of your Brunswick Envoy oil machines. Definitely check those out. And, we're really looking forward. We will release the pattern. I'm thinking probably next Friday on the show. We may release it earlier in the day and talk about it on the show that night, or we might just release it during the show. We're not sure yet. So it'll be definitely next week sometime. So it'll be a lot of fun. So
yeah, my guess was it was going to be the same pattern, but with different volumes.
Yeah, Dell's just checking in. Kate is looking forward to going up to one of your tournaments in the spring. By the way, Kate throws the ball really well.
Yeah, she does.
She should definitely have as much confidence in herself as she could possibly get because they made the cut, her and her dad.
Yeah.
They both great. So, and
awesome.
Kate she was awesome. She was just awesome. I got to watch her bowl Saturday. She was phenomenal. Dell says we can do a family dinner. Mallory and Jimmy have to go, which would be great.
Yes.
We'll pick the restaurant, so that'll be great. Josh Delfonso said he thought same length, different volume was his guess as well for the tournament. So, you will know next week. So if you haven't got on the list yet, scrolling across your screen at the bottom, the Frankie and Ding Dong Show at gmail.com. I know it's a long one, but once you save it in your email, you never have to worry about it. Send the emails.
Send the email. I don't want you to shame you on Facebook.
Right. Mallory's great at that. She's my fact checker. Like the independent fact checkers. This is her. She does a great job of it. And so yeah,
Stuff Crust set me up the other day.
He did.
It's been a while since someone's done that I've caught.
Just teed you right up there.
Ooh, Stuff Crust. No,
it was funny.
Yeah. He's like, I just did.
So get on the waiting list, seriously, because I believe at one of the events earlier this year, we ended up going through 15 on the waiting list and ended up at 63 entries. So we actually still had one day of the tournament that could have got in as a walk-in. So definitely get on the waiting list. There's a good chance you might get in. So that just kind of covers information. Ding Dong, you want to say anything else about the pattern event? Or?
No, I mean, it's definitely one you won't want to miss for sure. We did tease it out there, different pepperonis, different crust.
Right. A little bit of everything.
More pepperonis, does that mean more grease? Or
I would
Good
think
question.
so.
Yeah.
But that there was more pepperonis also on the thinner pizza. So what does that really mean?
So is it leaking off the side?
It's who knows?
Yeah.
We'll find out next week.
Yeah.
I still want to get the mad scientist to put out your pattern for, was it Mulligan Stew, the reverse Christmas tree?
Yeah, the reverse
I was
Christmas
bowling
tree, the Christmas tree from hell.
Yeah, I bowled the Neva TOC that day, so I didn't get to bowl on it. Nobody wanted to bowl on that pattern either, apparently, once we got there. Everybody was real mad. I showed it to Tony Bennett, and he goes, I'd rather bowl on that. Your Christmas tree. Yeah. He would rather bowl on that. But I was like, I'm just interested to see, because like Jimmy was telling you, it's always different, like someone explaining to you how something played than trying to play it yourself. And I was like, I want to try.
So the results, like with all of our tournaments, we partner with tournamentbowl.com. They're a great website to use. So you'll be able to find the our dual pattern tournament on there. The name will change once we review the oil pattern. We call it the dual pattern tournament right now, but we actually have the catchy name for the tournament. Yeah. So like last year we had it was called the long and the short of it, because we had a 50-foot and 30-foot 1-to-1 oil pattern. That was pretty gross. That was gross. The 50-foot pattern was especially gross.
50-foot pattern.
Yeah, I mean, you could have bowled 3,000 games on that pattern. It wouldn't have broken. Oh, I swear to God, it was miserable.
The 30-foot pattern actually had some hooks. So, but the 50-foot was like throwing arrows.
It was, I mean, at the end of it, I should have just thrown my T-zone down the center of the lane. I would have better luck. But
well, speaking of T-zones, I heard that Clean
Jesus tonight. 300 tonight just in time with the T-zone. So.
Is my husband still watching, babe? If you're watching, did Timmy get to 800? Because Tim Lehman was 520 something.
Yeah. Let us know, Splinter. Please let us know. And you know what? If you don't have power at home, get your butt over here. We'll get you on the show too.
No.
Del Picard said, "Hope you all have a great Christmas. Hugs." Yes, absolutely. Same to you and your family as well, my friend. Definitely. We also want to thank Brunswick Bowling for providing balls for each tournament. Definitely couldn't do it without sponsors like Brunswick. Definitely helps everything. Builds those prize fund, helps everything out. Also wanted to thank Bowler Builders Pro Shops for sponsoring and offering free drilling of all the bowling balls this season. Jimmy, thank you so much for doing that. And, the bowlers really appreciate it. And you know what? We try to cross promote. While you're there getting your free ball drilled, why don't we set you up with a bag? Why don't we get you some tape? Why don't we get you some shoes? Whatever you need, we'll hook you up at the pro shop for sure.
Beam Supreme has not won a ball this year, has he?
No, he's 0 for the season so far. Oh, hold on. We got Splinter checking in. 720 is how he ended up.
Oh.
So a tough third game. Been there.
He bowled pretty
Splinter
well
says Mike
for the
Tebow,
Cubs,
Parker's dad, went front 9 the last game.
Oh.
Almost had a father-son night. That would have been awesome.
That would've been cool.
That would have been really cool, actually. So thank you, Splinter, for checking in and letting us know what's going on with that. Oh, Del Picard. He says autograph. He wants an autograph from you.
Absolutely.
So we got to make that happen. So, so just getting back to that, Bowler Builders, thank you for sponsoring the tournament series again. We talked about, excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. F.D.D.S pattern library, Brunswick Envoy oil machine, direct downloads for those patterns. And I'm sure you can probably find someone to convert them if you use a Kegel machine, if you use whatever you use for a machine. I'm sure you can probably figure out what the conversions are for that, but they're direct downloads for Brunswick Envoy oil machines.
Can we convert like the Kegel patterns to the?
We can. So I talked to Greg about that because I wanted to convert because I had done Beefy Burrito, which was years and years ago. And but they have the Envoy machine now. He was trying to figure it out. It's not as easy as you think it would be.
Yeah.
It's not.
Because
it's the same going from Brunswick to Kegel.
It's still tough. So I actually talked to some people at Kegel about converting some oil patterns, and they were basically saying the same thing. Like, a lot of times when they design patterns, it's for their machines and this and that. So it's hard to guarantee it's gonna, they say, play the same way on a different machine. So I mean, it's possible. I think if you just basically get your volumes, your ratio, stuff like that, what zones, how much goes in each zone, you can kind of
like plug and play,
get it kind of close. Yeah, for sure. So. But yeah, it's definitely not as easy as I thought it would be. I thought it'd be like, oh, can't you just do? No, it's not that easy.
Just type this in.
Trust me, after now designing patterns with Greg for them for just this machine, I can see where that's definitely a challenge because just designing. I mean, we go back and forth with patterns with Greg, like, okay, let's do this, let's tweak this, let's do this, and he's like, well, I can't do this because of this is the way the machine, does this zone for the pattern or whatever. So, when you start designing patterns, you kind of learn, okay, we really need to design it for a certain type of machine at this point. Yeah. And then kind of go from there,
And that has played into it a lot because the Kegel machine and the Brunswick machine have different capabilities.
Right.
It's kind of almost like Windows and Mac.
Gotcha.
Or like Apple and Android. I mean, you can do similar things, but not everything is the same. So
and they don't really talk to each other, which is unfortunate.
And just reminding people that all the streaming for the events that we run in Portland are all done by us. If anyone else wants us to stream your events, we are absolutely open to that. So please just approach us. Our stuff is obviously mobile. We can bring it anywhere. So if you want us at your facility streaming your event or a college signing or whatever you got going on, get in contact with us and we'll try to make it happen. So for sure. And then also the missed F.D.D.S Carl Series titles archive is online. I keep that up to date. It is now up to date all the way through the end of 2022. So you can check out all those career titles archives on there. I'll leave that at the bottom of the screen so people know the website to go to for that. And that's pretty much going to wrap up the show tonight, guys. I mean, we covered a lot of ground tonight. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention was a new bowling alley opening up in northern Maine coming up in the new year in Caribou. It's actually Evergreen Lanes, which it's actually almost like a reopening because I believe it was called Evergreen Lanes before, because that was up at the base.
Yeah.
But it says Evergreen Lanes and Rendezvous Restaurant are getting ready to open next year. So I hope that they do well. 10-lane center, it looks like, is what they're going to have, and a restaurant in there and everything. So that's great.
How many lanes was it back when we used to bowl there when we were kids?
I want to say.
Wasn't very big.
No,
10 or 12 maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a big center. It wasn't big.
I'm sure the people up there need some entertainment, though. I mean, for sure, that'd be something good for them to do. Especially it gets cold.
Connor Adams asked, "Is the tour all Brunswick machines? PBA Tour uses Brunswick machines. I don't know. PWBA
is Kegel.
They're Kegel machines.
Yes.
Okay, so that
was why I was asking because the mad scientist and I have talked a few times
about getting some of their patterns.
I think I'm going to see the beginning of the year if he'll put some patterns out for me that are at least similar to what I bowled on this year. Like at least the tournaments that I struggled.
Right.
If it was something that I figured it out by the end of the tournament, I just wasn't comfortable. That's different. But if it was something that I was like lost, I think it was like day 2 of the U.S. Open was delightful for everyone.
Josh Delfonso checked in. Biggest difference is the Envoy is only forward oil, so that makes sense. Yeah. And he said yes, Loring Air Force Base. That's correct. Yeah, because I bowled. We had youth tournament up there back in the early '90s. That was I've been up there.
That's where I met my husband.
Yeah, he didn't even, way back in the day.
Way back in the day.
So yeah, definitely. So congrats. We really, hopefully, good thing for Evergreen Lanes and Rendezvous Restaurant up there. We wish them a lot of success. And hey, if you want us to have a tournament up there, let us know.
We're in. Let's go.
That's one heck of a.
There's a brand new Hampton Inn in Presque Isle. It's delightful.
There we go. So we
I go there for work. I just remodeled the
So.
Caribou Hannaford. So.
And we just want to wish everyone a very happy holidays from the Frankie and Ding Dong Show. I want to thank everyone for a very successful 2022. It was much bigger and much better than 2021. We added a lot more content this year.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we're adding even more. You see our little ticker here going behind you? We're going to try to find a way to get this at all of our tournaments and maybe have some live scrolling stuff going, maybe showing like cut scores, tournament leaders, stuff like that. People can walk by and see it without having to like go on their phones.
Always.
You're always the cut.
Always
Yes,
the cut.
we know that. We've
Doesn't
had
matter
this
when I'm
conversation.
bowling. I'm always
Whatever
like,
it is,
James,
she's always
it's
the
me,
cut.
right?
So, but yes, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, New Year. Whatever you celebrate, we want you guys to have a good time with your friends and family for sure. And thank you very much for a great 2022.
Yeah, and so for your fans, Mallory, on the PWBA tour, are you going to be doing things like your pro-ams that you hinted at and fan fest type things that people can interact with you?
So right now we don't know until the roster comes out for each tournament if we're doing the pro-ams, but I typically go and like hang out at the pro-ams. Liz bowls just about everyone. She's a major title winner, so I'm usually wherever she is. So,
Right.
So I'll hang out. I hope I get to bowl a few this year. They're definitely different than our pro-ams at Bayside.
Well, yes, of course.
Yeah.
There's no pro-am like the Bayside.
Right. No, there is not.
But so your fans will be able to see you.
I'll be around.
interact
I'll
with
be
you, at your tour stop.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It'll be a good time. We'll Jimmy and I have talked about doing a few clinics together also, so we might have that coming.
That'd be great. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Dell, you and all the other Mallory Nutting fans, Mallory Clark fans now,
right?
Will be able to get your chance to get her autograph.
Yeah.
As well.
That was interesting this year, having people ask you to sign things.
That's cool.
The hardest part was probably that I also just got married last October. So going into it, and I was like, I don't know my name anymore.
Right.
There's new letters that I don't know how to write.
Right.
Yeah.
This good practice that signature.
Yeah, I know. Summer Jasmine was actually getting she had us sign, like all of us signed like 3 or 4 pins to do like a raffle back home to raise money for I think it was a youth league. And we're signing them and they're talking to me as I'm signing them, talking about my old last name. And they were like, oh, but Nutting was so cool. And I was like, I know, it's fun and like whatever. And as I'm signing them, the last one I signed at Mallory Nutting, and I was like, you're welcome. That's a collector's item now because I'm
right. That's a one-off.
Right. I was like, I'm struggling to write my name, and now look what you've done.
Oh, that's great. So definitely, looking forward to seeing you on tour this year. Obviously, we're going to be pulling for you, rooting for you all the time. So, anything you want to say? Just signing off with your session. Oh, by the way, our tournament on January 15th, we have 3 professional bowlers just kind of duking it out with us lowly amateurs here. So we got Mallory, we got AJ Chapman, and we got Arturo Quintero signed up. So we got a little bit of sprinkling of some pros mixed with us amateurs. And as we know, you just never know from tournament to tournament what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we get Storm, we get
Storm Vincent, Jimmy Fritz. I mean, we've got all kinds of So
we have a pretty good.
Bogosian
comes up and bowls, so
he's like the sweetest man on the planet.
We have a really great group of people that come and support our tournaments.
Yeah,
and
so
we love you all.
Absolutely, it's chill, it's low key, but it's competitive. We're bowling for money, but we also at the end of the day, it's not going to define us as people. So
I think the cool thing about any of our tournaments at Bayside, whether it's a Carl's tournament or a Frankie and Ding Dong tournament, even when you don't bowl well, you still have a good time.
Right.
Like, if I don't make a cut, like I'm a little fried for a minute, but then I'm like, and you have fun hanging out with your friends and like watching everybody else bowl. And
absolutely.
There's other tournaments that like you don't bowl and you're like, it's time to go.
Peace out.
Not staying, we're leaving. But I always want to stay. I always want to see who wins. Like you always want to watch the whole thing, but it's like other places that's not the atmosphere. It's just like, no, I'm done. I'm fried, I'm done.
Peace out. Right.
Well, I mean, to be fair, when you walk into one of our tournaments, you know you're gonna bowl on trash. So I mean, it's like, do I, bowl
we
well
feel like we're
trash,
trying to give you good preparation for the tour, so when you get out there and be like, This
Wow,
is like
this
a house shot from
Right.
I just pulled it home.
I told somebody that once. I was like, you should see the garbage that we bowl on for tournaments. I'm like, they're evil. They just come up with hot garbage. They're like,
Yeah.
here, we decided to put the oil out with a Swiffer wet jet today. Good luck. Like, could you
You
imagine?
joke, but Greg and I, we have joked about stuff like that,
Yeah.
certain different things.
There's a few patterns that we actually have that are atrocious. Like
Yeah.
you should not throw a bowling ball down. But these are ideas we have actually physically now. We could put in the oil machine, and you'd be like, "What is wrong with you people?"
There's
Even-
a few that are in the oil machine already,
Right.
are ready to go, that are pretty ugly.
Yeah, because we bowled. What was it? Sunday. It was the 2018 Team USA. Very
Yes.
long.
Yeah.
It was so interesting because it was long, but it was
Oh, there
like
so
a
much hook,
spritz
so
of
much
oil.
early- yeah,
Like
so much early hook. Because it was still like a lower mid volume, and you're
Yeah.
stretching that out to 48 feet. It's same way like taffy. Once you stretch it, it gets super thin in your
Yeah.
and it's just like whoa.
and it was the weirdest thing because you'd have like no ball reaction, and then all of a sudden it was like overreacting. You're like,
Yeah.
whoa,
I mean, I
what
played.
just happened?
I was playing in 17, 18 with the Rattler, just playing it in, and I probably should have been right at 20. I probably would have had an even better look, to be
Yeah.
honest with you. But
Yeah.
live and learn, and that's the great part about you bowling an all pattern once. You're like, you know what? Now I know, and that's probably like something that you probably take with you into season 2 on the tour. Is now making those transition moves faster, like recognizing
big
stuff
girl
quicker,
moves.
right?
Big girl moves.
Committing to those moves and stuff. So, yeah. So, well, no more comments coming in. I think we've pretty much wrapped it up for the night. So, thank you, everyone. We had a ton of comments, a lot of interaction. Thank you to all the fans who tuned in tonight. And thank you, Mallory, for coming in and spending some time with
Thanks
us
for
and with the
having
viewers.
me.
So, it was a great time. And for King Ding Dong, I'm Frankie Avalon. And for Mallory Clark, thank you, everyone. Have a very happy holidays. And thank you for tuning in. And we'll see you next Friday for Fridays with Frankie.